It's Therapy Tuesday with Dr. Christy Kane. She will be joining us momentarily as we talk about navigating fear and what is it like to navigate fear, how fear should not drive our decisions. So I'm going to send Dr. Christy Kane an invite. I'm super excited to have her back this week because we just think Dr. Kane is the bomb. And we have let's see here. Here she is. Invite. So she should be joining us momentarily. Hey, Dr. Kane, it's awesome to see you.
Thank you. It's good to be seen.
Definitely. What a week, huh? So
yes, it was a week, I must say.
Well, let's go into our topic. We want people to ask questions about navigating fear. And so you felt prompted tonight that this should be the discussion that we have.
I had a client in my office, and in attempting to make a decision, I recognized that the fear was paralyzing her. And so because of that, she wasn't making effective boundary choices and making effective decisions. So I thought it was really important to talk about that because so often as we go through life, we all experience cuts, bumps, bruises, but sometimes those events can create fear, and that fear can become paralyzing and not allow us to say the things that we need to say, express our emotions that we need to express, or even hold the boundaries that we need to hold.
That's a good point. So what would you say? We just had a comment from somebody that said, what about when you have fear about dating?
Well, it's interesting. In the state of Utah, there's a whole thing coming out of a girl that's now missing. She supposedly went on a trip with a guy. There's a lot of fear factors, and it's called being wise. So when it comes to dating, we should be willing to take risks and knowing there's a lot of frogs before you find a prince, but that you don't date those frogs or meet those frogs in places that's unsafe. That's why I say in safe dating tips, you meet the person in a public area, you don't give them your home address, you tell a friend, you have a text message type, moment that you can text that says, call me, get me out of here. You do a lot of things to create that safety. And so that, for actual fear. The other thing, the emotional fear, in order to date or have any type of relationships, we have to learn to be vulnerable. We have to learn to recognize why our fear may keep us from connecting with others. And so that's important to understand that.
That is. Now, when you deal with, what about debilitating fear? Have you noticed that people are getting more fearful about COVID or about, I know we talked about something like this previously in a Therapy Tuesday we did, but are you noticing that there's like this fear of not wanting to leave the house for some people?
I think we have a society in all aspects that's driving fear. And sometimes that's by misinformation. Sometimes that's just because you have health concerns of your own. It's really important, especially in a COVID base, to get accurate information, which is hard. It's hard to know that. But it's also important that even in a fear-based world, there's basic human needs of connection that need to be, brought into our lives. And so we can't make decisions out of fear. We need to make decisions out of good information. We need to know our own health. We need to know our own emotional needs. We need to understand our own past that's creating fears. And then we need to be able to manage that. The scriptures teach us that God does not give man, the power of fear, but of a sound mind. And soundness comes by accepting and knowing truth. Whether it's, hey, I've had a lot of negative relationships, so I'm really afraid to be vulnerable. So then we have to talk ourselves into being willing to risk, right? Or knowing I'm at a higher risk to catch COVID, so I have to be more safer. Those kinds of things can help mitigate fear.
There's something I'm holding your book, Fractured Souls and Splintered Memories, and there's a chapter. There's something we talk about alone and inside, and I think that a lot of fear was unlocked. This is chapter 9, the third box. The invisible child. I
Mhm.
think, could you share some of that with us now, if you're okay with that?
Sure. Michelle had to come to accept this child that dealt with all the abuse. And she had to come to recognize that the child wasn't at fault and that it wasn't her fault that things happened. And it wasn't her fault when she had feelings and emotions. So part of the healing was for her to go back and see herself as a child and to accept the truth of the situation. Oftentimes, fear gets created by misunderstanding or thinking there's something wrong with us or we did something wrong. And the journey of healing is coming to understand, especially in any type of abusive situations, oftentimes people are doing whatever they need to do simply to survive. And so that's
Yeah.
placing that, getting rid of guilt. Fear is propelled by guilt, and
Mm.
guilt comes from the dark side. And
Yes.
so as we eliminate guilt, we can help eliminate fear in our lives. And so that's part of that chapter. She had to see herself as a little child and
Yeah.
recognize that it wasn't her fault.
It wasn't her fault.
Mhm.
So we have a comment from my friend Ben. He says, control what you can control. Fear is a false sense of security. What would you say to that?
Control is an interesting term. And I like the fact where he added control what you can. I
Mm.
think in reality, in some aspects, being decisive is a better word than control. Making the decisions that we feel are best for us and then allowing to come what may. We have to make decisions and recognize whatever choice we make. There may be those who judge us. There may be those who don't understand us. But if we've made the decision out of a sound mind based on information, then we need to be okay with what others are going to say or do. And we also need to be mindful not to judge others for the choices that they make
Yeah.
and trust that they're doing the best they can with the information they do have.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have a comment from Marion's daughter. I love that. I hope I heard that statement correctly. Was it eliminate guilt, eliminate fear?
Yes, as we eliminate guilt, it will help us eliminate the fear
Mm.
because guilt drives shame, and
Yeah.
shame makes us afraid to ask for the things that we need, or shame makes us feel bad about ourselves. And so, yes, as we can eliminate guilt, then we can lift shame and be able to give a voice to the things we truly need.
So for those of us, we have almost 40 people on here. I want to introduce my friend, Dr. Christy Kane. She is a licensed therapist and doctor that works in Highland, Utah. She has an office there, but she also does sessions remotely. So if there are people here because I have followers in Australia, so you can see patients anywhere. And this is something that we do every Tuesday, unless she has a patient emergency, because patients come first and friends come first, and family, of course, and ultimately God. But
Or if you have COVID.
or if you have COVID. Yeah, so that's
Yep.
knock on wood. I have not, but
Well, I can't say that. So,
I know. So, well, we were gonna keep that just between us, but that is the reason why Dr. Kane wasn't able to join us last week. And she's been you can tell that she sounds a little nasally right now,
uh-huh.
but this is a judgment-free zone. So I don't want to hear anything about, vaccinations or mask or anything, because we just love and accept all on Therapy Tuesday. Correct, Dr. Kane?
That is correct.
Okay.
What we need to do is build on this, Dennis. We need to do a fireside in Utah. We need to do a Tuesday night mental health fireside.
Mm, I like that. So, well, as we're going to wrap this up, I just want to read one last comment from Let's see here. Oh, we got a couple. Nikki says, I love this so much. Friend Marion Daughter says, thank you so much for sending all the love and gratitude. We have our friend Sandy from West Jordan says, so glad you're feeling better. Our friend Colleen said, glad you're feeling better. Our friend Nikk says, yes, capitalized. Marion Daughter said, so thankful you are healing. I had COVID too, and it's tough. Thank you for taking the time to help us. And then we have our friend, the last comment we have is from COR says, please come to New York. Well, I am so close to New York. I am like, but yeah, Dr. Kane does talks. She does TED Talks. She does talks all over the world. So we can actually, you can request to have Dr. Kane speak. She's in New Mexico a lot. She's in Texas, which I feel like my hair is a little big tonight. It's like, go big or go home. Bigger the hair, the closer to God.
We need to seriously think about that and get some people putting together a fireside, and we can do a mental health night, because I think we need to do one. So
I agree. So Dr. Kane, do you want to read those last few comments, because they're hoorays for you? So my friend Crystal says, glad you're feeling better, Dr. Kane. Please do a mental health fireside. So many people in Utah need this. Our friend Elizabeth _ says, thank you for your statement on accepting and being a judgment-free zone. That's from, thank you, Holler. Our friend JK says, Dr. Kane, you the bomb. So,
well, thank you, and I appreciate everybody's kind comments. So thank you very much.
They are. And our friend COR says, you were at the Hartford Temple a little bit ago. That's the temple my stake is in. I am part of the Hartford Stake, and I spoke at the Hartford Stake conference 2 weeks ago. So, and I'm getting ready to go to speak in Oklahoma, Edmond, Oklahoma. So I get to see my peeps. Maybe that's why I'm wearing my hair big, because I'm getting ready to go close to Texas.
Well, that's good.
So, Dr. Kane, thank you so much for this time you shared with us. And thank you for everyone that followed and commented. We love those hearts flying by, and we're happy to do Therapy Tuesday with Dr. Christy Kane.
And so let's practice this week on navigating without fear. And then people share some comments back of how that changed your life to navigate without fear.
That's awesome advice, Dr. Kane. Thank you.
All right.
And I'll be seeing you in November, Dr. Kane. I'll be out there for 2 weeks.
Well, maybe we can do a mental health thing in November. I've got a bunch of speaking, but we'll see.
All right.
All right.
Have a great day.
All right.
Thank you, sister. Will do.
Bye-bye.
Bye.